that's all you see. Forget all about devotion. You say it like you wanna be.
Hello guys, Rami X back for another video, and the like goal for this part is going to be 70 likes, and check out my Discord server down below, and subscribe as I have a 1,000 subscriber goal before March. And now let's get into the video. So we left off in basically the middle of the training exams, and Hinata won against Neji. We now switch to Naruto versus Neji, and for starters, this Naruto is much stronger, but also this Neji has trained a lot in order to defeat Hinata the next time they fought. But he hadn't quite reached her level, but he was approaching it. As the exams proctor then started the match, as Naruto created 4 shadow clones, shocking some of the people in the stands as he created 4 clones, as they then rushed at Neji, as Neji used a gentle fist on them, as he then said, pathetic, as the clones threw down 2 smoke bombs using a sort of headhunter jutsu, but to Neji he had defeated the clones, as Naruto then created 4 other clones that then jumped up onto each corner of the tuning exam wall, as they then threw kunai wire all across the stage, as Neji looked up seeing them and thinking nothing of it, as the clones then created 2 clones each of themselves, throwing paper bombs, which Neji then used rotation, as Neji believed that they were up there to bombard him with kunai, paper bombs, ninja wire, etc., long-range weapons. As the real Naruto then engaged in hand-to-hand combat with his 3 Tomoe Sharingan, as Naruto was able to perceive Neji's attacks, though to Neji he was hitting Naruto's chakra points, but in reality Naruto was just barely dodging, as Neji then ended it with his 2-handed push, as that was the only hit Neji landed on Naruto, as Naruto got up so fast and Neji was so surprised, as the gentle fist can't be negated that quickly, as Neji was shocked that he could even stand, as he then said, I struck all 64 of your chakra points. As Naruto then said, no, you hit 1 with your last strike. As Naruto then remarked, and that chakra point was the one on my seal, and I don't need to rely on that until I accomplish my goals. As he gritted his teeth, knowing that at some point in time, he may need the Nine-Tails chakra and be forced to be rid of that statement. As he forced the chakra point open, as Neji said, but I saw my attacks land. As Naruto then said, no, you thought you saw it. The Hyuga's Eye of Foresight, very powerful, but used in the right hands, very dangerous towards its own user. As Naruto then clapped his hands together, as his clones used Fire Style on Neji, and kunai wire, as Neji was then trapped in the crossfire, as Neji was inhaling carbon dioxide, as Neji then used rotation clearing the air, as Naruto then punched Neji into one of the wires, burning himself, as Naruto then said, you've already lost, Neji, as Neji said, I won't lose to a snot-nosed brat like you, who isn't even from a noble clan, as Naruto said, if only you knew, as he then created a clone that then used universal pull on him, sending him up onto the wall of the training exams, as a universal pulled Neji, punching him, and then one of his clones pulled Neji and punched him. This went on for about 2 minutes, as Neji then jumped into the middle of the stage, flying down into the center, using universal pull on Neji once again, punching him in his gut, knocking him out, as Neji then stood up, as Naruto said, you know, I hate when people look down at others, and I'm surprised that your ego won't let you fall to me. I find it a bit funny, punching Neji into the exam wall, as he fell down coughing up blood, as Naruto then pulled out a kunai and signaled his clones to come down to him, as they did, as he then had them pull out shuriken, throwing them at Neji, as Naruto then threw his kunai at Neji with a chakra around him, as he then created another clone who used wood style, as Naruto can access wood style, and because basically he's an Uchiha and Senju, due to him being the Sage 6 pass. As Neji was then hit with the chakra around it, as Naruto then threw 3 more kunai at Neji, which he knew, if not stopped, then it could kill Neji, but as if he wasn't treated, but he has the King of House, so he doesn't care. As Guy then jumped in, pulling out his kunai and deflecting all of the weapons, as Guy then said, I would rather fight you than let my own student die to your hand. As Lee and Tenten then jumped down as well. As Naruto then said, let's prove it then. As everyone in the stands except for Sasuke and Hinata laughed. As Naruto then said that it won't take much time. And even if it does, enjoy the show. As Kabuto, who had adopted the role of Orochimaru, had licked his lips as he realized that Naruto could be a great vessel in the future if Sasuke was unsuccessful. And he could be used as a backup. Also, if you don't think Naruto would do this Naruto is always willing to test his strength, and any battle experience makes him stronger. So eventually, if you think he's pretty weak here, he's not pretty weak, he's actually very strong, and he just needs to access more of his abilities that come with being the Sage 6 Paths, basically reincarnation. Excuse me. So, yeah, he's inclined to accept. Anyhow, Naruto then activated his Rinnegan in one eye and his Sharingan in the other, as he then ran at Neji, putting him in a hostage position. As Lee then activated the second gate, blitzing Naruto, kicking him away, as he then threw Neji into the stands, as the doctor then caught him, rushing him to the hospital. As Hanabi then asked if he would be okay, as the doctor then said, if I don't get him to the hospital now, then he will be unable to be a ninja. As Hanabi went back to watching the fight, as Guy then used the 6th gate and leaves the 4th gate, with what he was able to muster up without straining himself too much. As they then kicked Naruto in his ribs, as Naruto then healed himself with the King of Hell, as he jumped out, kicking Tenten into the wall, as he picked her up, judo slamming her into the ground, grabbing her by her breasts basically, and throwing her into the stands, as she was then caught by another person, and she then threw kunai that she luckily defended, and summoned some kunai, throwing them at Naruto as well, who then jumped up, judo slammed her by her leg this time, slamming her into the ground, and taking out a kunai, as he then attempted to stab her neck, which would paralyze her, but Lee kicked it out of his hands, and Guy kicked Naruto, as Naruto then used the universal pull on Tenten, grabbing onto her, and using her to block his fall. Also, knocking her out, making it a 1v2, as Naruto then created 10 clones, as 5 of them stalled Guy and Lee, as Naruto then created 16 more clones, as 6 of them went underground, as 4 of them then threw kunai and shuriken, and another 6 would try to fight them, as Lee and Guy defeated the clones, and Naruto then sent his plan into action, as Naruto then had his 6 clones hold on to them, as they were bombarded with kunai and shuriken, as Naruto's clones, due to having the Sharingan, were able to pinpoint their pressure points, paralyzing them, as Naruto then slid, kicking them both up into the air, as Naruto then used a giant Rasengan in each hand, slamming it into them. As they were then knocked out, as Guy then got up, activating the 7th gate and throwing his pressure point. As he used a daytime tiger on Naruto, as Naruto couldn't react in time, as Hinata then told Sasuke that they needed to help Naruto with their foresight abilities, as they then stepped in, taking the brunt of the attack in 3v1 Guy, as they eventually won, as they all passed out from exhaustion, as they postponed Gaara versus Sasuke, which enraged Gaara, and they put in the Kodokan Crush plan, but in this timeline, Lord Third isn't really occupied, besides having to fight Rasa, and Jiraiya is in the village in this timeline, so the assault is pretty normal and less harmful. And Naruto also still fights Gaara and uses Taku no Jutsu, and was then taken to the hospital, and Gaara was carried by Kankuro and Tamari, as he then told them that he was sorry for being so mean to them, and that concludes this part. And this was part 4 to What If Naruto Was the Sage of 6 Paths, so you need to get 70 likes for another part. Check out my Discord link down below and just subscribe, and as always, Rami X, out.